Hey guys, Zane from the Infinite Jukebox here with another quick album review, and today I wanted to talk about the new George Clanton record, Urapaya. I cannot explain to you how much I hate the title of this album. The feelings of extreme melancholia and nostalgia that Clanton is able to generate in his music is pretty much matched by no one within the semi-popular music sphere. If you want to consider George Clanton a popular musician in the grand scheme of the music industry, that's up to you. Is really a kind of not matched, for the most part at least. That being said, when I say unmatched, I more so mean inconsistency and inconsistent relevance within the general musical sphere of dreamy music. I don't really mean in quality, because as a whole, George Clanton's body of work is very good, but I wouldn't really call it great, and that's mainly because there's not some sort of independent, self-defining factor that really just ties together all of the singer-songwriter isms and neo-psychedelic, dreamy pop, nearly vaporwave influences that Clanton involves in his music so much. Outside of 2018 Slide, I wouldn't really say he's put out an especially great record, and I was hoping that Urapaya would change my viewpoint on that, but unfortunately it hasn't, even though I still do like the album. I mean, the record has a phenomenal start, it just can't stick the landing, and it's a damn shame. The record's first four tracks are absolutely stunning. Let me just get that out of the way. I mean, the flurry from Everything I Want to I've Been Young, those first four opening songs on Urapaya are just, they're laid back, they're dense, they feel really well executed, they're emotional and nostalgic, they have this very warm feeling to them that isn't really bittersweet per se, but still has a hint of longing behind them. They're a bit hard to describe, and they hint back slightly to the sort of 90s UK sort of alt dance, semi electronic, but not really even trip hop kind of scene, and I really love them for that. And then it just kind of goes downhill from there. Ironically enough, the best qualities about those first four songs are also the qualities that drag down the remaining six. Although the dense, semi-wall of sound style of production and mixing that Clanton goes for on this record is one that he admittedly just goes the full distance with, and I completely respect him artistically for that, it also means that there's very little, even really no aesthetic sonic differentiation from track to track. I mean, sure, there are different influences here or there, some different instrumentation once in a while, but for the most part, in terms of actual texture, most songs here kind of sound the same. I wouldn't have a problem with the consistent sonic texturing here if every song was able to really reach the same heights in terms of melody and in terms of striking atmosphere and delivery that a song at the beginning of the record like Justify Your Life can, but the truth is that just the rest of the songs after the first four tracks don't. I mean, you have tracks on here like Vapor King slash Subreal, as well as the Hatchie collaboration For You I Will, which ends off the album, and they're fine. They aren't bad tracks by any means, they're well done, they are well performed, but all things considered, they just don't have that yearning, longing, emotional, 2 a.m. during the middle of summer and you're still up for some reason kind of feel to them that the first few songs on the album do have, and because of that, they just feel like lesser tracks holding down what could have been a phenomenal EP. I think it's also worth noting that some of Clanton's songwriting becomes lesser on the back half of the record as well. I mean, obviously the lyrics aren't necessarily the main selling point of a George Clanton album, but at the same time on songs like, FUML, for example, you have moments where Clanton goes from very introspective to uncharacteristically minimalistic to a very underwhelming extent, where it kind of feels like he's saying nothing and is just being vaguely personal with very little to actually put forth. The strangest part of Urapaya is that besides the fact that the wall of sound constantly, always, all the time, on every single track is something that grates on me eventually, and that the songwriting here is a little bit subpar at times, it's still a good record, and you could make an argument that part of that is because of the first four songs, which really are that absolutely amazing. Look, Everything I Want, Justify Your Life, Punching Down, and I've Been Young are easily some of the best songs you're going to hear in the entire quote-unquote alternative music world for the entire year. Urapaya may be very reliant on its first four songs to get across its best moments, but there's no denying that there's a consistent atmosphere here, and that in the grand scheme of things it's well executed, just a bit monotonous. Did I really just say monotonous and not monotonous? I think I'm just gonna give up. Although I would personally say a record like Slide or even 100% Electronica would be significantly more recommendable for anyone trying to get into Clanton's body of work, I also do think that there is something to be said about the general vibe about this record. I mean, sure, it may be kind of one note, but it's executed pretty well, all things considered. And above all else, Urapaya is just testament to the fact that George Clanton is still an unstoppable creative mind, for better or for worse. I'm going to give this album 3.5 stars out of 5. And with that being said, that is the end of this quick album review. I've been Zane from the Infinite Jukebox. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.